So, if you're joining me or you're coming across this video, Sammy the Micafella. I teach about karma. So if you don't understand what I'm about to say here and speak here, be patient, relax, and don't bring karma upon yourself. Because what I teach is a blessing, it's a gift. For those who don't know, maybe you might know, but if you do know, then move on, let it be. So today's 12, it's about 10:45 right now. Yeah, in my area. And it's a full moon tomorrow completely. But today it is a full moon. But if you look out, you can see it right there. That is the full moon. And tomorrow is going to be completely. So tomorrow will be the 13th. So technically tomorrow is going to be the end of the month for July. And the 14th will be the 1st of August. Now people will say, why is Sammy so caught up in this stuff that is not relevant? Because the whole world has come to an acceptance that tomorrow is the 13th and not the 30th or the 29th of the month or the end of the month. It is important because your whole reason why you are on this earth is based on time. Your whole existence is based on time. Your date of birth is based on time. Your date of death is based on time. So the calculation of time in its purest form, it's a testament to your life journey and your purpose while you're here. So if you live for 50 years, that was your time, your lifespan. And anybody who trick you or mislead you is responsible for tricking you for that 50 years of your lifetime. If you allow yourself to be tricked, you're also responsible for wasting that 50 years of your time. So as a child, you know, a child is an innocent person or soul or spirit. Once they get to adulthood, they get to reach a sense of awareness. Now I'm talking about in your 30s. Anybody below 30 years old is still a child, still playing, still trying to figure themselves out, because it takes a lot. Like they said, life begins at the age of 40, which is for foundation. So if you're below your 40s, it's all right, or it's normal that you would make certain mistakes because the world is so hard to conquer, and it's inevitable that you are going to go through some sort of temptation, trickery, deception, miseducation, misinformation. But once you pass or you start getting to your 30s and mid-30s and getting closer to your 40s, redemption is upon you because you are so lucky to bypass all those, chances you took and mishaps. During that whole time, you had guardian angels, so you had soul spirits that were around you that was guiding you regardless of your foolishness, your mistakes or crimes or whatever it is. Now, you are now in your 30s, mid-30s, late 40s, 50s, 60s. You've seen everything you really need to see, and it's time for you to seek what we call redemption, meaning it's time to get it done right. You cannot be conforming to the exact same thing and making excuses. So say for instance, you're in your 40s and you want to buy a house, and then you're still buying a house in a city, and you haven't been able to go outside to buy a house to try and get a house where you can have farming and land and space for your children. And you saved and you're keeping up with the Joneses, or you're keeping up with the same ideology. It tells me you never grew because you don't want to detach yourself from the system. You still want to be dependent on the system and take whatever the system has given you, right? Because you don't want to strive higher than your generation ever gave you. Not say you never made it, you're poor. We understand that. But to have money, or to go to the banks and get qualified for a house and live in the same neighborhood as your grandparents over generation after generation, you see these houses built next to each other. It tells me you don't want to grow. Time is everything. It's of essence. The time that you're given here is the life force that you've been given. That time is here to do something specific, and even more to add on to humanity, or to raise humanity's vibration. And so if we do not honor the time and we just take it for granted and say, oh, whatever the calendar is created is whatever it is, and the calendar is lying to you, and God is right here in front of you with his celestial energies or miracles or beings such as the sun, the moon, these elements, the earth on which you stand on, and you can believe in every science and believe that there's no God or there's no source creator. It's almost psychotic or egotistic, or how you say it, narcissistic, or almost evil, or I don't know how to even describe those people who think that science is everything and there's no source creator, because the numbers that science are using is based on these moon numbers, which is based on the calendar, the days, and they're lying on the moon, saying they even landed on this moon, and this moon is right here, and it shows up every year, every day, to count your hours, your minutes, and your time. The sun does the exact same thing for you, and man is lying to you and is telling you God doesn't exist, that the science exists. Meanwhile, men or the scientist is using every resources. This shirt is cotton, if it's woolen, silk, whatever it is that it is, okay? The cell phone you're using, this jewelry I'm wearing, everything comes from the earth. No one knows the creator of this earth. So what does that tell you? It tells you somebody's trying to steal your birthright. And because you're not responsible and you do not look for the source creator, you conform to anything and get caught up in petty, emotional, financial stuff to hurt other people, because you think just because you got some dollars, you are better than the next human being, because once you help them or you are in their aid, they owe you something. They become a slave to you, or you have to let them pay a price. But meanwhile, everything that you're looking for, all you're depending on, whether it's paper or money, whatever you print, if your bank card is a plastic that comes from the earth, your scientists, the test tube that they have to create comes from the earth. These elements are testifying that there is a source creator who is abundant and has left you and many more generations the gift to be able to come here and explore, live. And if people are mismanaging and lying and tricking other people, you just follow along and expect everybody else to conform. And when the people don't conform, you're upset, you're mad. You call them conspiracy theories because television tells you that they're conspiracy. What are people like me telling you that is conspiring to be beneficial, but to be able to let you find yourself or your divinity? What I'm giving here is for you to find your divinity so you can remove hate, jealousy, anger, competition, leave the system behind and be within the system but not off the system, to reach a higher divinity. So when you die, you can go into higher realms of life. You can come back and teach like I'm teaching, or do even better. There's many levels you guys are going to see me do based on this information I'm giving. Not because I'm saying I know so, because I had to tap into something and I was put through a journey or a trial. People are watching and some don't understand why is Sammy talking about this moon? I can't come on this earth, live, die, and be a liar to something I saw. If you're calculating the moon by the month by the lights, which is the sun and the moon, because time doesn't exist. Time is not relevant. Man made time. So if we made time and we're making it based on the calculation of the month or the moon, and this moon and the sun are the calculation of minutes, seconds, and hours, months, and days, weeks, and whatever it is, how do we let anybody trick us and tell you it's the 13th tomorrow, and yet the moon is full, but the month is based on the word month and moon, M-O-O-N, and M-O-T-H is the same thing as moon. The root word is M-O-N or M-O-O-N. Okay, these are the root. Similar to the word mother, M-O. I told you about the Muslim people, the Mohammedanism, all that stuff. Anyways, I don't want to get into studies that most people haven't been with me, so I'm going to leave that alone. Right? So here you have the moon come out on the 13th. It's going to be full. The 14th is going to be the first of the month, and it has been twisted upside down, and you don't understand. This is the reason why majority of the people don't understand that everything that they own on this earth that belongs to them has been confiscated by our leadership or a group of people, and people have taken sides based on skin colors instead of understanding that we are human race. And if somebody's bringing division, that is the work of a bad or an evil entity that wants to take away from the majority. Kids are going to be kids. They're going to drink and smoke because the system put those things in place. You didn't put smoking and drinking, crack and cocaine. You don't create these things. The scientists that created these crack, cocaine, heroines, and acid, it's not you. It's your government. It's your system. So how do you know what I mean, go through all those and you don't die, and you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s, and now you're still acting like a child and not looking for where you're headed to, which is your death. If you think that you're just going to die and just let it be, I'm telling you today, like if you came across this video, I'm telling you today that you're going to have to pay the price for your time on this earth. It's not just going to be you coming in here and just enjoying and you're going to slide with it. Nah, man. Because if I woke up to my divinity and telling you that there's something higher than this, believe me, there is something higher than this. And you yourself, it's a testament that the person that created your ability to speak mouth that science want to copy and make robots based on you. Cars are created based on animals with 4 legs. You know, your motorbikes based on the birdies. And just like you, the science behind the humanity or the earth, the land, the water, the everything that you depend on to create the things that science give you or technology give you, is from somebody or some sort of creation that is beyond the imagination of anybody can ever put in a book. You can't even describe the source creator. This is abundance. And you're struggling and you're mad about your neighbor. You get up in the morning chasing, running around angry because you hook somebody up with this so they owe you that. Nobody owes you anything. It's we're sharing. If it wasn't for the wicked minded and the evil minds of people, there's enough to go around for every life plus some. There should be nobody on earth struggling, missing love, missing pain, cheating, lying, stealing, robbing, being greedy, all that gluttony. There's enough to go all around for everybody. But because you don't see it, you partake in those things and envy your friends, your neighbors. You don't find the strength in you. You let people pump you out with drugs. Now you're walking around looking like a zombie. You can't find your strength because you're pumped full with drugs. Your body's supposed to be a body full of what? Electricity. Now you're putting chemicals in your body from left, right, center. Every second you want to go see a doctor. You think your great-great-grandparents, this generation that built this universe or the planet before you got here, were dependent on injections and doctors before you were born? How did they survive all those years? You go back into the biblical books, it tells you people live to 900 years, 100 years, 150, 600 years. There'll come a time, our time is going to be so short, the kid will be 15, 13, 14 years old, and that'll be your grandmother. Because our brains, and we're not using our brains, and if you don't use your brains, it becomes useless. Because somebody else is going to think for you. The media is going to think for you. The movies are going to think for you. The musicians are going to think for you. The liars and the cheaters and the backbiters and the karmics are going to think for you because you're creating nothing but karmics. Yes, you can have fun, but at what point in time do you grow? At what point in time do you say, hey, it's enough. Let me find where I'm headed to, because you came from somewhere. You're going to end up somewhere. And it's obvious that everybody's exiting in death. So if you cannot plan for your death in your afterlife, and you think this body is nothing, you sleep, something is breathing. You don't even know where you went to. But anyways, this is why we honor the moon. This is why we honor the sun. This is why we honor the land. This is why we honor the air and the waters, the plants and the animals, and the humanity in it. Not because we're worshiping it, because we're giving glory to the source creator of all these elements and its wonders. Because no one knows who and what and how it is. And that is gratification. Because these things are free. But everything your government or your technologist or anybody or scientist ever gave you cost you a dime and an arm and a leg. And even though you are all participating in creating these things and being part of the workforce, some of you cannot even afford food after going to work. Some of you cannot even afford transportation to go to work. Some of you cannot even afford the mortgages in which you live in to go to work to help move that particular system that you so-called believe in. Yet, you're mad at the world. Yet, you don't believe in God. Yet, you believe in science and technology. Yet, when we tell you, you're angry about God. Yet, you're angry about Source, the Creator, like it doesn't exist. You don't think it exists, you're going to keep suffering. You're going to keep coming back and living karma. I'm telling you this. I'm free. When I die today, I die. I die peacefully. I've seen the glory. This is the life. Once you understand this is the life. Nothing bothers you. You will smile. You'll be good. You will see that it's all a game. You would understand that every game that they're playing, everybody's playing. The karmics, you're going to see your child for who they are, your wife for who they are, your family for who they are, your boss for who they are. You understand karmics, gifts, angels, gods, all walks amongst you. But you're too blind if you think that none of these things exist and it's just only the government and your technologies and your science, and you want to believe it and pump yourself with chemicals. Keep pumping yourself with chemicals and drugs. Trust me, you will suffer more. You thought you're suffering in this lifetime. If you think you're feeling any type of stress or you're feeling any type of challenges in this particular lifetime, Believe me, it will double 5 times if you don't fix it now and get yourself to start looking towards to what you can do to have what we call redemption. And it starts by honoring these basic stuff such as the moon, the water, the earth, the land, the resources. So this full moon is called buck moon. And buck, you know how the English word is a bastard language, so the word buck could be $1. And the word buck again is also a horned male animal. So this is the season for the horned male animal or the buck or the dollar to show in your life or transcend in your life. So if you're doing the right thing, the universe will bless you and show you some of these things. Anyways, I'm going to leave it to be. Sammy B. Clear House Star Wars. It's a full moon. And as you can see, it is right there. I would go out, but the problem is that there's mosquitoes everywhere right now eating. And I came out here without my my jacket. So I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say. This is karma that I'm teaching. But I have to teach it in many different levels or share the information in many different levels. This is not for the kids. The kids are already confiscated. They're going to grow up and become just like you and I. And once they get there, guess what they're going to need? They're going to need someone like me or you to be able to educate them or leave them this information. So it's very key that you adults out there that have passed the stages and are heading to your grave to start looking for your divinity, because you've already created karmics, which are your children. And you've lied to them about Santa Claus. You've lied to them about the owners of the land. You've lied to them about their history. You've allowed the system to manipulate them and you continue the lies without trying to make no effort to redeem anything. You're allowing the system to pump the kids with chemicals, drugs in their body, when your body will never ever get sick if you don't put no chemical or poison inside it. If you're eating the vegetation that the source creator has given you, you will be doing good. Instead, you want to kill every animal for the taste of good mouth, telling me it's protein. You need protein. Niggas with their big lips talk about protein every day. We want protein and chicken and beef and Meanwhile, yeah, your protein is getting you fat. Your protein is getting you looking like you're sick. Your protein is the problem with this animals getting killed and being held hostages. Your protein is the reason why we have stinky neighborhood. Your protein is the reason why we can't even farm, because somebody's confiscating the land. Think about these things. Let's be real with ourselves, people. The vegetation is here. The herbs are here to heal you. People can't even tell my age because I look so fly because of the food I'm eating. And there's nothing wrong with just, it's an addiction. Whatever your parents raised you with is what you're raised with. But when it comes to time, you have to do some soul searching and say, you know what, I can't partake in this. I've lived maybe 40 years of my life in this way. Can I live the other 40 the other way? I've been blessed to come this far. Can I make a commitment for my true self to identify who I am? You're never going to be the superstars that they've created for you on TV. You were never going to be them. You're never going to be that super singer, dancer, rapper. You will never be. I'm probably the greatest person in my own city because I created everything from scratch in my own ways. So fix yourself up. Pick yourself up. Look at the reality. Look at yourself in the mirror. And stop living a fantasy that don't exist. And start living the reality. You will find content. You will find God. You will find source. You will find the power. You will find the image. You will find the understanding in all those things. Anyways, I didn't want this to be a rant. I wanted this to be an awakening and an inspiration. With that being said, it's one time. Sammy B. Clear House. I know this message hurts a lot of people. It rubs them off the wrong way. But I give a damn what you think. Give me a reason. Sammy B. Styles, Clear House. Go check that song out. Give me a reason. Alright? Love you. Easy.